And I actually have been going by Dr. Patrice with my clients lately, so that's why my
That's
name
what
says that.
I
But
can
you,
happy
so
to
either
call.
way, I answer to both.
Okay, thank you. Hey everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ and Friends. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and I have a new friend today that I'm meeting for the first time. Her name is Dr. Patrice. Hi, she goes by Dr. Patrice, and she's going to be talking about sleep and weight loss. It's a topic that's very, very important, especially if you're struggling with either your weight or your sleep. Please welcome Dr. Patrice to the show. It's so nice to meet you. Tell me a little bit about yourself and where you live and what you
Well,
do.
first of all, thank you for having me. I'm very grateful to be here, and it's very nice to meet you as well. Well, I am Dr. Patrice High, but I go by Dr. Patrice with my clients these days. I am from Columbia, South Carolina, and I'm a family physician and also a lifestyle medicine physician. So I'm boarded in both. And I realized after 20 years of practice that I didn't have enough tools in my toolbox to care for patients. And so I went back and did that extra certification in lifestyle medicine, and used the pillars of lifestyle medicine in order to address my own weight gain issues. So I had one baby, and he came with a 30-pound price tag, unfortunately, um,
Oh
that I
my.
didn't need, as I had been fairly overweight most of my life. And one day when he was in his bedroom upstairs, I found myself running up the stairs because I heard a cry that I'd never heard before. I got to the top of the stairs and I was so short of breath that I had to just stop in my tracks. And in that moment, I felt like, gosh, what kind of mother am I going to be? Am I going to live long enough to raise this baby? What kind of doctor am I? I'm not leading by example. All of those sort of mama feels kind of ran through me. And I realized I was going to need some new tools. I needed tools for myself, I needed tools for my patients. And what came from all of that was me starting to do some research. Just like most type A people, I realized that I needed to figure it all out. And so I found the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. And then I learned how the pillars, including a whole food plant based diet, physical activity, managing stress, managing sleep, avoiding risky substances, and social connection could help me heal my own weight issues. And so I shared that with my patients, and then they were more interested, and I found much more fulfillment in medicine through it.
So, what kind of doctor are you and where do you practice?
Yeah, so I'm a family medicine physician and a lifestyle medicine physician, and I actually have started my own practice, my own telehealth practice called New Empowerment Health.
Wow. How long have you been a physician?
I've been a physician for 22 years and counting.
Nice. Where did you first hear about either lifestyle medicine or the plant-based diet?
Well, um, I had my first baby who was 30 pounds, came with a 30-pound price tag. And that's how I heard about the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. And I used the pillars of lifestyle medicine in order to release my own 30 pounds and counting.
That is fantastic. Did you ever think about getting board certified in lifestyle medicine? I know a lot of the physicians are doing that now.
Yeah, I actually did get board certified in 2021. And so now I support women because we're the gatekeepers of health, really, for most of our families. So I support women who want to prevent, improve, or reverse chronic illnesses like diabetes, obesity, heart disease, early Alzheimer's, hypertension, high cholesterol.
Fantastic. So, how do you work with people in person, virtually?
Yep, I work with them virtually. So I meet them where they are figuratively and literally.
Okay, so where's your office?
So my office is in my living room most of the time,
That's funny.
right here in Columbia, South Carolina. I enjoy meeting people virtually because I feel like they're more at ease. I also have aging parents in Atlanta. My parents are now 81 and 82, and I'm an only child. So it gives me the flexibility to be wherever I need to be in order to care for them if I need to.
Nice. Did you ever do regular like doctory practice, like hospital stuff and all that?
Yeah, so I've been in clinical medicine and in an outpatient facility, multiple different types of practices throughout my career. This telehealth piece is now new for me.
Wow. So do you like it?
I do like it. I do like it. I I miss the face to face, but at the same time, I do enjoy the flexibility of virtual care.
Yeah. I'm hoping you included your website and any social media links so that I can put them in the show notes in case anybody would want to work with you. But
Yeah.
let's talk about the bundle. Is this your first time in a bundle?
This is my second time in a bundle, my first time in your bundle.
Yeah. How'd you hear about us? I'm so honored to meet you.
Yeah, well, thank you. Dr. Shayla Toombs Withers, I believe, has been in
Sure,
your bundle in the
absolutely know
past,
her.
and we are colleagues and friends, and she introduced me to you through the bundle.
Oh, well, that was very, very nice of her. And what is your product in the bundle?
My product is a lifestyle roadmap for sleep and weight loss, and it's an ebook that helps people sort of walk through the challenges of, are you having trouble falling asleep? Are you having trouble staying asleep? Are you waking up multiple times during the night? And lifestyle things that you can do for each one of those entities.
Isn't it possible that sometimes people could have sleep apnea but don't even know it?
That is absolutely true, which is why when you've done the lifestyle things that you can do and you're still having concerns, it's very important to check in with your primary care provider.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, by what mechanism is it that sleep or lack of sleep, I should say, or poor quality sleep affects a person's ability to lose weight?
Well, there are lots of mechanisms, and I'm not sure that we know all of them. But ultimately, sleep deprivation causes metabolic disturbances. It can increase your cortisol level. And when your cortisol is higher, you tend to gain or to hold on to weight. It's harder to release weight as well. So that's just one mechanism. But it can also cause insulin resistance, which also can lead to weight gain.
That's so interesting. So people love to know what our guests, especially doctors, eat in a day. Would you mind sharing that with us?
Sure, happy to share. So I'm fairly plant forward. So for breakfast this morning, I had a kale, banana, and blueberry smoothie. And then at lunch, I had a big salad that was super colorful with 2 cups of artisan greens, banana peppers, tomatoes, cucumber, carrot shreds, and red cabbage, and a balsamic vinaigrette that I made because I tend not to buy salad dressing. And then it is 6 o'clock here, so we've not had dinner quite yet. But I'm sure it'll be some sort of vegetable soup, is what's on the menu.
Right. Do you ever use the Instant Pot? That's one of my favorite tools.
I do like my Instapot. I'm still getting used to it. I'm fairly new to the Instapot world. I
Yeah, I
use
love
it.
it. I find like you just push a button, you know?
Yes, I might need a tutorial with you about the Instapot.
Oh my gosh, it's funny. I even have a whole class in conjunction with Forks Over Knives. I didn't call it
That's
Instant
awesome.
Pot for Dummies. I think I called it Instant Pot made easy or made simple. But really, it is that's why they call it the Instant Pot, I think, because I heard that the company went out of business or something because they made such a great product that people just they never like I still have like 10 or 12 years old. They just never seem to break.
Right. Yeah, it is pretty sturdy. It is pretty sturdy. That's probably true. I didn't know that.
Yeah, well,
But yeah.
I mean, I'm sure things can go wrong, but for the most part, they can really take a beating. I'm gonna
Hmm.
I'm gonna post your unique affiliate link in the chat in the show
Great.
notes. If people want to get the bundle from you, they can click that. I'm curious what else you noticed in the bundle that you might like.
Well, you know what? I'm a sweets girl, so I really did enjoy the book on ice cream because I really do enjoy ice cream. So that was one of my favorites. And then also the ebook by Dr. Shoba on 5 ways to lower your blood pressure. I thought that was a great book. And then also Nicole Fogelman's book on recipe recovery, recovery recipes, excuse me.
Yeah, that was a really interesting one. Yep.
It was very interesting. And they're all beautiful. They're all beautifully done. So I was very pleased with certainly all of the items in the bundle, but there's so much information. Nicole and I did a live a couple days ago, and we were talking about how it'll take us a year to get through all of the stuff in the bundle
It's
because
true.
there's so
It is
much beautiful
true.
information in there.
Yep. And you have a whole year to download it, but I don't recommend you wait.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
What's your favorite plant-based recipe?
My favorite plant-based recipe. Oh, there's so many good ones. I'm a pretty simple plant-based recipe person. So I really do enjoy zucchini noodles with a can of diced tomatoes with chilies and corn with Italian seasoning,
That sounds
maybe
pretty good.
garlic powder. It's so good.
I do love zoodles. How can you help people improve their sleep hygiene? Do you have any tips and tricks?
Yeah, sure. I think the most important thing about sleep, while I believe you can't fix what you haven't measured.
Mm,
And so really taking stock of what kind of sleep problem are you having? Are you having trouble falling asleep most of the time, or where do you fall? Because the answers are somewhat different depending on that answer. So if you're having trouble falling asleep in the first place, certainly there's things you can do in your environment, such as making sure that you're using your bed exclusively for sleep, not watching TV and things like that. Reduce the noise and the lights, lower the room temperature, make sure that you're getting early morning sunlight, decreasing those electronics about an hour before you want to go to bed, and actually starting a sleep routine. Just like we get up in the morning and we have a plan. We open our eyes, we get out of bed, we stumble into whatever room. Your body recognizes that you're waking up. But then at night, we don't tend to do that. So our body doesn't really know that we're decreasing our, not decreasing, excuse me, that we're getting ready for sleep unless we have a regimen. So I really do encourage my patients to start to dim the lights about an hour before they're going to bed, put their electronics away, and actually have a process, whether it's reading a book, whether it's listening to music, soft music, taking a bath, whatever it is, so that you're now priming your brain and your body for sleep.
that makes sense. What about a lot of people use those machines? I think it's called white noise or blackout
Mm-hmm.
curtains. What do you think about all of that?
I think it depends on the person. For me, I wouldn't fall asleep to that. I really prefer quiet, but some people still need a little bit of noise. And I think using noise that you're not going to want to sing to is probably really, really helpful for some people. But everybody's a little bit different.
Yeah. What about using not necessarily sleeping pills, but do you ever recommend to your patients things like magnesium or melatonin or things like that?
Um, well, it depends. I tend to talk about melatonin more with jet lag because we inherently make our own melatonin, and the things we do during our day either increase or decrease how much melatonin we're making in a day. So that's why I try to encourage early sunlight, making sure you're being active, staying away from alcohol within 2 to 3 hours if you're going to drink it at all, so that you're supporting your body's inherent capacity to make melatonin.
What about caffeine?
Oh, caffeine, if you're going to drink it, you need to do that earlier in the day because it really is a sleep disruptor.
Yeah.
So before 3 o'clock is what I normally encourage my patients to do.
Yeah. Wow. I hear it has a pretty long half-life.
It does have a pretty long half-life, and people don't realize that most of our sleep problems, or shouldn't say most, many of our sleep problems are caused by the things that we're doing during the day or the things that we're not doing.
Yeah. Well, this isn't everyone, but just the people that I know, a lot of people with sleep problems, they're not exercising at all in the daytime. And I find that the people that really do some kind of meaningful or vigorous exercise generally hit the pillow and go to sleep.
Absolutely. They sure do. They do. And, you know, exercise is important for so many things, but it really does help your body throttle down in the evening time.
Yeah. What do you do for exercise?
Oh, well, well, it depends on the day. So I really do enjoy a walk in nature. But I also really enjoy a group class. So I was a Zumba instructor at one point in my lifetime. And so I still enjoy a good Zumba class from time to time.
Nice. There's a question that you do telehealth only in the state you live in, or can you do it for people if they live in other states?
I can do it for people in any state, really, because I really partner with their PCP, their primary care provider. I'm not held to the standard of just being in South Carolina, where I am.
Nice. Thanks, TS. That was a great question.
That was a great question.
So,
Thank you.
yeah, Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl. See you Thursday. What is your recommendation to help people fall back asleep? Because there's another viewer named Susan says, I wake up several times a night from 1 a.m. to 4 a.m.
Yeah, so if you're somebody who's waking up multiple times during the night, I would suggest a couple things. So certainly using your bed only for sleep, no TVs, no electronics, but also making sure that you're getting that early morning uh, sunlight, making sure that your carb heavy meal is at breakfast as opposed to dinner. And also, when you do wake up during the night, be very mindful of not stewing. So, if you're somebody who wakes up and you start thinking about all of the things, some of my patients have benefit from having a pad next to them on their dresser, on their side table, excuse me, and sort of brain dumping that stuff so that it's not running around in your brain. Also, we also tend to turn over and look at our phones or find something to do. I discourage that because the blue light on your phone decreases your melatonin, which makes it difficult for you to fall back to sleep. So certainly when I wake up early, because sometimes I do, I tend to try not to look into anything that is lit. I also tend to either start to close my eyes and walk through um, the things that I'm grateful for and have a moment of mindfulness. And then I can tend to fall back to sleep as long as I'm not trying to think of like run the list for the next day and that kind of thing. But those are kind of my biggest things. I mean, if you're somebody who's going to ruminate or worry or plan, I would dump all of that before you even try to fall asleep.
Yeah, great.
And then it's already written down and you don't have to worry about it.
What do you do if it's not you, but like let's say your partner snores or has sleep apnea? Do you have to go sleep in another room?
Well, sometimes that is what my patients do. Earplugs work, if that's a thing for you. Sometimes it's just a matter of getting your partner to the doctor and getting your partner taken care of. Certainly sleep apnea isn't just people snoring. It can be dangerous when it's not treated well in terms of hypertension, increasing your risk of strokes, heart attacks, things like that. So if you have sleep apnea, you definitely want to get that treated.
Great, thank you. And here's a question that I hear a lot, especially from people maybe as they're getting older. Any suggestions for a person that gets up 3 to 4 times a night to use the bathroom, even though their last water consumption was 3 to 4 hours before going to sleep?
Yeah, that's a hard one as we get older, isn't it? I would say For some people, 3 to 4 hours isn't long enough. And you may need to assess what else you're drinking during the day. Um, if you're someone who's consuming caffeine, I would consider eliminating caffeine and seeing if that helps because caffeine can be irritating to the bladder. Um, Also, I would make sure that you've gone to the bathroom before you lay down. Some of us are so tired, we just lay down and we don't empty before that. So that's probably that first one. Those are probably the biggest things. And certainly, if it's not getting better with you doing those things, check in with your PCP or get a referral to a urologist and just make sure that your bladder is still sitting anatomically where it's supposed to. Some of us need help with that.
Yeah. I think I don't want to say part of the problem is that we eat such a, even if we're not drinking water, we eat such a water-rich diet if we're eating whole
Hmm.
foods that
Yes.
even if you stop drinking 3 or 4 hours before bed, if you're eating dinner,
Hmm.
that could be that. And that's why, do you recommend, what do you recommend is a cutoff time for people with food? And what do you think about intermittent fasting?
I think intermittent fasting is great for some people. I feel like we're all different, and you have to kind of find the thing that works for you. Um, I do intermittent fast. I stop eating around 7 most of the time. Today's not going to be that day, but and typically I'm not really hungry until about 10 or 11 the next day. And I found when I went plant-based that was kind of just sort of how things fell. I don't necessarily do it on purpose. I just don't have a hunger signal until about that time. So I certainly, it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to lose weight, I would certainly encourage you to stop eating earlier in the evening so that your metabolism has nothing to do but to work on what you've already consumed as opposed to what you may have consumed and then laid down on.
That makes sense. Anyway, guys, if you want to get, oh, let's see. I love the idea of thinking about good things in place of worrying. One of the viewers on Instagram said, that's what my mom always would say. Just think about happy things.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, I think we don't realize how much power we have inherently to be well. Um, and happiness really does. People live longer when they're happy. We have whole societies that live longer, like the folks in the blue zones. Just by culturally, they are happier, more content people, and they don't worry. Worry leads to disease. It increases our inflammation. It increases our blood pressure. All of those things we don't need. And most of the time, we're worrying about things that either 90% of the time are not going to occur or things that we can't change.
yeah. The lady that said how she wakes up between 1 and 4, she's saying she walks an hour, swims every day, 12,000 steps, coffee in the AM before 10. I'm not a doctor, but I'd tell her to stop the coffee altogether and see what happens because it has a 17-hour half-life.
Oh, you were frozen
Oh,
there for a minute,
oh
AJ. What
no,
did you
I
say?
said that the lady that was saying that she wakes up between 1 and 4 says her coffee is before 10. I would say try to get rid of it and do an experiment and see if you can
I agree wholeheartedly.
because some people are very sensitive and that's 17-hour half-life. If she's having it at 10, that could be the reason she can't sleep at night.
It absolutely completely could be. And we have a lot of things in our diet that we don't even know we're consuming. Bless you.
Thank you. I
You're
muted
welcome.
myself, so they're probably saying, why did she say bless you? Thank you, though.
You're welcome. And so sometimes it can be the preservatives in things. If you're getting things that are canned or things that are boxed, so it's really important to read those labels and try to eat as cleanly as possible because you have no idea. If you can't pronounce it, your body doesn't know what to do with it. And that affects us all differently,
Mm. I
whether
love
it's trouble with sleep, whether it's your bladder overacting. It could be anything. We're all genetically different.
If you can't pronounce it, your body doesn't know what to do with it. Fabulous. How can people find you? Because I didn't get any links from you. You can certainly add these to the show notes, but if people want to work with you or find you on social media, where can they look?
Yeah, so I thought I had filled that out on your
Maybe
sheet.
you did. I can't seem to find it, but for now we
Okay,
just have your bundle link in. But also you can verbally tell everyone.
absolutely. I can also put it in the chat.
Sure.
Um, on Facebook or Instagram, you can find me at New Empowerment. So new as in nutrition, NU Empowerment Health. And
Nice.
then my website is www.doctor, spelled all the way out, patricehigh.com. So that's how you can get to my website.
Uh,
And all of my assessments start with a 30-minute discovery call. So we just have a conversation about what your health goals are, what your diagnoses are, what your medicines are, what your readiness to change is, and really where you want to see your health in the next 3 to 6 or 6 to 12 months. And so we have an entire conversation about that
that's great. Okay, I've got that, and I just put it in
for
the
30
chat.
minutes. It doesn't cost you a thing. And then I share the programs that I have, which is a 6 month program for the woman who's all in and who's ready to meet every 2 weeks on Zoom. I also have a group program that is primarily nutrition. That 6 month program covers all of the pillars. And then for folks who want to just stick their toe in a little bit, I've got some individual sessions and again, all of that's on the website.
Great. I
We also
found
do,
it. I found it, so I can put it. I put it in the chat, and I'll put it in the show notes in just a second.
yeah, sure, awesome. We also, if you're local here to Columbia, South Carolina area, we have wellness events where we're teaching about meal prepping and salad in a jar and soup in a jar. Um, and so I really enjoy those because it gives me a more intimate community to connect with. And then we also have wellness programs all over Columbia that we warmly invite people to.
Great. Well, thank you. Do you live anywhere near Dr. Will B, another plant-based doctor? I believe he's in South Carolina.
Dr. Wilby, I believe he's in Charleston, so he's about 2 hours from me.
Oh, too bad. He's very nice.
I know, right?
Nice. Have you gone to any of the conferences like the Plantrician Conference or anything like that?
I have not been to Plantrician Conference. I've been to the PCRM conference. I was just at the American College of Lifestyle Medicine conference. I've also been to the PPOD conference.
Well, maybe
Um,
next year you'll do Plantrician because it's going to be in Palm Desert again, and I think I'm going. So maybe I'll
okay,
meet you. That's where
that
I met
sounds
Dr.
great.
Toombs. Okay, well, thank you so much. Thanks for being in the bundle. If you'd like to get your bundle, which is over $5,500 worth of materials from your favorite plant-based doctors like Dr. Patrice, influencer chefs, and more, their courses, their videos, there are over 1,000 recipes. It would cost $5,500 if purchased individually. Just click the link below. You can get it right now from Dr. Patrice because it will only be available a few more days at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time on Monday, March 10th. It is gone forever. Well, thanks so much. It was so nice to meet you, Dr. Patrice.
It was nice to meet you as well. Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, you're welcome. And please come back tomorrow at 2 p.m. for one of the doctors that Dr. Patrice mentioned, Dr. Shobha Rapudi.